Welcome to How We Grow, an essential playbook to grow and scale your vacation rental business with advice and insights from the best in the biz, with your host, Lynell Gordon. Welcome to How We Grow, the Vacation Rental Show. We're doing some quick tips this week from the Streamline Summit. And I have Fred Cercena with me today, and he has enormous amounts of experience. It's going to be interesting, you guys. He has a very successful property management company. He lives in New York, but he manages vacation rentals all upstate New York, right?
No, it's actually Central Vermont.
Central Vermont,
Yep.
Sorry. Central Vermont. And before that, he has years of experience, guys, in marketing. So do you think that played a part in the success of your company?
Yeah, absolutely. So, when I first started in 2008 with one property, and I started managing it and built my own website right from the get-go and had online booking.
Wow.
2008.
Wow.
Within 5 months, because I just knew that this is what I was, and it felt right. And then in 2011, bought a second property and then decided that I wanted to do this as a part-time business while still working in marketing and consulting for car dealerships.
Wow.
And it's interesting that when somebody buys a car, they want to see photos and they want to see a good description, right? And when I saw out there with the competitors and the rest of the properties that were on VRBO and some of these older websites, it was just really poor.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like all I had to do is to shoot really good photos, have a great description, full list of amenities, and I could beat the competition just by showing up and doing those simple things.
Yeah.
I didn't say things have gotten more complicated now with virtual tours and all kinds of technology. But in general, when I first started, that's where I saw a big gap in the business.
Would you believe I still have people that talk about that being a gap in the business today?
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah, well, I'm guilty of not updating the photos.
You showed up, you did descriptions and you did photos. And at that point, you were ahead of the game.
Well, yeah, to some extent. But then I realized a lot of the competitors weren't even doing any online booking. And that's the when I started. You used to have to call to see if there's availability. So it was really about having real-time availability and somebody could book right away. I thought that was also low-hanging fruit at the time back then in 2011.
No, it was. I remember we were one of the first companies. I was in technology at the time, in our technology company. We were one of the first companies to put book it buttons on the website. Yeah. But nobody else was doing it. They're like, this is crazy. You'll never be able to manage this.
Sure. It's not that bad. Especially where we're at, we get very few guests that, cause any issues where we got to vet them really well. It's just most of our guests that were coming to Central Vermont were coming out of Boston and New York. We're a drive-to market, more higher end properties. So the model worked really well for us.
Tell me, what's the best piece of advice you have for someone today who is looking to grow their property management business?
I would have to lean on marketing. As long as you're doing those high definition photos, that the property staged correctly, you have a full list of amenities, you're doing a virtual tour if you can, drone photography to kind of stick out and also name your property. I found that some people don't spend enough time naming their property, whether it's a condo or whether it's a townhome or just a regular vacation rental home. The whole idea is if you put a lot of effort into marketing the property with those kind of items, like I said, virtual tours and great photos, drone photography, good descriptions, and unique name and the order of the photos, people will find it and you'll stick out above some of the other properties that don't do that as well.
So Fred, what you're actually talking about branding, each property should be branded.
Yes.
And it's unique and it's individual. And that's the really cool thing about property management, the way that we do it in short-term rentals, is that our properties are unique. They definitely are. And what about the description? Tell me about the description for a property. What should we think about when we write those?
Descriptions appeal to people who really like to read. I'm not that big of a person. I like to look at photos. I'll make a decision. I'll scan the first 2 or 3 sentences.
Right.
But I'm not like other people. Some people will want to read the whole description, want to paint a picture of what the property is about, want to get emotional in there. I mean, I've leveraged ChatGPT for certain things, but then again, sometimes you get what you put into it. We ask our owners to write their own descriptions because we believe that they know the property better than most. Yeah, a shortcut is to use chat, but the problem is you don't get the real emotional connection to the property that somebody who owns the property has. And that's why, as a company, we ask the owners to make an effort to do that because they know their properties better than anybody. And just the same, I've never been a good writer, but I know good writing when I see it.
Sure.
So it's like I said, going deep into how you feel when you're there, the things that you do. It's not about how many beds or whether you share a refrigerator or a microwave. It's all about what you see when you get up in the morning out your door, what, the experiences are that are around the area. Because people aren't coming for the rental necessarily. They're coming for the experience that is in the general area.
Well, there you go. That's a really good tip.
Built by property managers for property managers. Streamline is a powerful software that gives managers enterprise-level capabilities to drive more revenue and improve operational efficiency. Migrating to Streamline allows property managers to gain functionality while reducing the need for multiple vendors, improving flow by logging into a single system and reducing redundant technology costs. With Streamline, property managers achieve revenue lifts by leveraging our fully fledged communication center, reservations quoting system, revenue management tools, homeowner acquisition CRM, and powerful direct OTA connections. Streamline also has industry-leading trust accounting and report capabilities to give you clarity in an overall company performance. Learn more about Streamline Vacation Rental Software at streamlinevrs.com.
What are some of the things that when you first started, you look back and you go, I wish I hadn't done that. Or maybe I wished I'd done that instead. What are some of those things that stick out to you that you can tell other people that are beginning their company?
I've always been into marketing. And so I leverage a lot of the online travel agents like Vrbo and currently now Airbnb and Expedia and Marriott and so many. We are working with so many outside OTAs. One of the things I kind of look back and wish I would have did is market to the past guests that stayed there and created a deeper relationship with them to have them come back year after year after year, because ultimately that's what a successful business is getting and keeping a customer. And it's something that I lost track of because I was so interested in technology and marketing and getting exposure on all these online travel agents. I really should have focused there. And we are doing that now, at least. And we have another office in Southern Maine. And that's where we're really focusing this fall on, is those guests that stayed with us over the summer to get them to come back year after year.
You're the second person that's mentioned that in the last 2 hours, by the way.
Really?
I love you. It's a big deal.
It is a big deal. And it's something, like I said, that I found is super important.
So there's a tool, and I agree with you. The company I was with wrote a tool for that. There's a tool that it's now intertwined with RepMax. And the reason that it's so dear to my heart is because I've seen it live in action in Holden Beach and up and down the East Coast where we first started. It was such a big moneymaker that I was like, sure, guys, it's free. It doesn't cost you anything, and you make money at it.
Sure.
Now it's time to get it together. But so that's good. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with people who are maybe struggling? Maybe they've had their property management company a long time and they're like, man, I just need some new ideas. Well, here's a new idea you just gave them. Focus on your past guest and go work on that, because that's revenue right there. What other kind of things are you focused on that you think that you might want to share and say, hey, this is what I'm doing?
Sure. I think what we've experienced, at least in the last year, is there's been a flood of inventory since COVID. And there's so many people that are trying to do this themselves. And what they're ended up doing is they're putting their house up on, or their condo up on Airbnb. They're putting just generic photos, like I said before, but they're pricing so low. So it really goes back to just doing the marketing, like I mentioned before, where you're outshining the rest of them and nurturing those past guests and ultimately getting good reviews. And it's really reaching out to the guests, while they're checked in, see how they're doing after they've checked out. And like I said, ultimately creating a relationship with those guests so they want to come back year after year. It's not really that difficult.
What technology do you use for that? Sorry.
Well, we use a company called Switchback for email marketing, but we also use a tool, Akia, for sending out text messages, and that's been super effective. We have a reservation team that follows up when the guest checks in. So it's about those touch points that you can make with the guest so that you do ultimately get those great reviews. It's the biggest thrill is when I see we got a 5-star and I get to read those. And it gets emotional, So,
No kidding.
Especially if somebody's had that experience and it's part of the team that we have that kind of understands all this that we talk about. That's what we're looking to do. It's get and keep a customer, but also make them happy and get those good reviews. I mean, it's a great business.
No,
let's talk about this. When I say I'm with a company called Getaway Vacations, people say, "Oh, that must be nice. I'd like a getaway." It's right. So it is. It's great.
I had a really cool thing happen this past week. A review came in. We have like these Facebook groups for Hilton Beach.
Mm-hmm.
And a review came in that mentioned my brother-in-law, Jimmy Hobbs. And it was just really sweet. It was like, I finally got to meet Jimmy Hobbs. He was so nice. And it was a guest. And it wasn't a review. They were just writing about their experience in this blog. And you're right. These warm little fun.
Yeah.
I did something really good that made somebody really happy.
Yeah. And it's great when they call people from my team that talk to them. They get a big rise out of it, of course.
I think we should make bigger deals about the positive reviews that we get. I think that we should have someone in our companies that we can pass them around so that everybody can see, this is what the guest is saying, because it accomplishes a couple of things. It allows everybody from the reservations to the people that are working in admin that never see the guest to see what people are saying about the company that are nice.
Right.
And it also encourages you to be nice because you want to get those types of reviews. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's this positive feedback to the team that they know they're doing the right things. It's great.
I mean, we love it, but it's like for them. Well, if someone has heard and said, hey, I'm really interested in what Fred was talking about, can they reach out to you with confidence? So how would they reach you?
You reach me through my website, getawayv.com or getaway-vacations.com. And there's a phone number. Email info@getaway-vacations.com. And my assistant picks up those emails.
The really cool thing, guys, I have a team that works with me. I'm the best team in the world, I'm telling you. And they do like research on everybody that I talk to before I talk to them. And sometimes they say, don't talk to that person. Yeah, but with Fred, they were like, he's very kind. He's known for being nice and being humble. And I just want to say thank you for being such a nice person.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, everybody knows it, just so you know. Thank you, Fred.
This episode of How We Grow was brought to you by Streamline. To find out more about how Streamline can help grow your vacation rental business, visit streamlinevrs.com. Make sure to search for How We Grow in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts, or anywhere else podcasts are found, and hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. On behalf of the team here at Inhabit, thanks for listening.